Boom. All right, what's going on to you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe small cap EV/green energy stocks are about to pop. As many of you know, the EV/green energy sector is the single sector in the entire market that I'm most bullish on at this moment in time. And I'm seeing some very exciting, very promising technical setups in many of the names we're going to be taking a look at today. So of course, I'm excited to look at these charts with you guys. Let's get straight into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each of the names we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, you guys know the drill, Trading View, where we'll talk technicals, price action, and price targets on the following names today in this order going down the watch list you can see right here. Kicking it off with arguably the single name that I'm most bullish on personally across the entirety of this sector as of right now, and that is Workhorse. You guys are seeing this chart. You guys know this pattern. This pattern is probably my single favorite pattern in the entirety of the market. If you guys have been part of the Waves fam, if you guys have been following along for a while, you would know that. That is the bull flag, and it makes me very happy to say that this is not the only bull flag we'll be looking at today, okay? So as this name implies, very bullish for all of the names who are currently playing out bull flags. And actually some of the names who just broke out of some bull flags, which you guys will know as we dive into some of these charts. So Workhorse, we will kick it off with, then we will move on to Plug or Plug Power. If you guys are familiar with the green energy sector, you're probably familiar with Plug Power. Very large name. Definitely, of all the names we're going to be looking at today, significantly the largest market cap. I believe they have like a $22 billion market cap. So this is debatably not a small cap stock, but Plug Power did definitely perform very well today. And although I'm personally not the biggest fan of Plug, it is looking very promising and the chart looks pretty good, so I do want to share my thoughts there with you guys, especially because I know many of you guys who are playing the green energy sector are probably interested in Plug, so I do want to give you guys what you might want to see, okay? So Plug, we will then move on to Churchill Capital or CCIV, looking very promising on the charts right now. Very excited to see how the coming days and coming weeks play out for CCIV, because that is actually one of the plays that did just break out of a bull flag. So take a look at CCIV, move on to HYLN, so HYLN. Unfortunately, as opposed to many of these names which look promising, HYLN does not look quite as appealing, at least from a technical perspective, a short-term technical perspective, I should say, at the moment. But if you're talking long-term fundamentals, if you're talking long-term bullish sentiment, I'm extremely bullish on HYLN, and I do think HYLN definitely has that 5 to 10x potential over the coming years, okay? So HYLN, very exciting from a long-term perspective. That's why I always have to include it, because it's arguably one of the single plays in the entire sector that I do believe has the most promise. So I do want to keep you guys posted on that. And then we will talk two names. That's or at least one of two names that performed extremely well today, the other of which I'm still bullish on short term as well. That is the Mars mission. That is alternate systems closing the day up almost 20%. You'll love to see it. The Waves fam loves to see ALYI, the Mars rover, taking off. So ALYI looking promising right now. Did just break out of a good old bull flag as well, so you guys will see that as we dive into the charts. ALYI, I mean, don't have to say any more there. You guys know how long-term bullish I am, and July is going to be a very telling month in terms of news for ALYI. If they can actually deliver on their deliveries, this stock will go ballistic, okay? So we might be seeing the little precursors to that in today's price action. Then we'll close it out with IQST, another OTC stock. So ALYI and IQST, as I've been saying, you guys might have heard me say this before, these two kind of act similarly to Riot and Mara. Therefore, if ALYI pops off, I do think IQST has a good chance at catching up and following in ALYI's footsteps. These two, from a fundamental perspective as well, they do work together. The actual companies are linked together. So therefore, I am bullish. If I'm bullish on ALYI, I'm bullish on IQST as well, okay? So those are all the names we're going to be looking at today, spending the entirety of this video on the charts, keeping it strictly technical. So before we do dive into any of these names, I will ask you to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're bullish on any of these stocks, if you're invested, if you're trading any of these names like I am, please give the video a like. Really means a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter, 15 bucks a month. That's going to be the first link down in the description. If you want to know exactly what my entire portfolio is comprised of: call options, put options, stock positions, crypto positions, which I do update every single trading day during market hours with the trades I've made that day during, once again, actual market hours. And along with every portfolio update, I do send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, throwing charts in there, even if I may not be making a trade, because I am a swing trader. I'm a pretty passive trader for the most part. Even if I'm not making trades, I'm going to throw real-time charts in there, real-time price targets, and talk to you guys about what I feel like is important during the actual trading hours, okay? So once again, first link down below, 15 bucks. Really means a lot if you guys check that out. But if not, I appreciate you watching right now. Let's dive into these charts. So Workhorse closing today, it's pretty rare you see this. So Workhorse actually closed out the trading day exactly flat, which is kind of funny to see. But it is poised right now for a breakout, in my opinion. And that is because, again, we are looking at a straight up bull flag. So bull flag, as many of you guys know, let's get rid of that. That might be distracting as we zoom out in the chart. But bull flag is a parabolic move up followed by a descending triangle. Workhorse is now at the lower end and also nearing the tip of this descending triangle, which does lead to a resolution of this bull flag, at least again the majority of the time, you guys. It's never 100% guaranteed, but from what I've seen, especially in this current market environment, the bull flag is a very, very reliable pattern, okay? So if we do break out of this bull flag, this will happen. This will likely happen over the course of this trading week. So it's going to be very, very exciting to see if Workhorse does resolve this the way I expect it to. Another thing about Workhorse, you guys, is that Workhorse does have the Reddit army, does have the unit that is the Reddit army behind it. Very high levels of short interest on this. So if the Reddit army does happen to get behind this, if they do try to short squeeze this, that's an extra catalyst on top of all the fundamental catalysts that make me bullish on the EV green energy sector at the moment. That is just, again, another star aligning for potential upside for Workhorse, okay? So I do personally, obviously, expect this to resolve itself to the upside over the coming days. Again, once again, by the end of this trading week. And if that happens, I do think we could see some very, very exciting price action for Workhorse. Obviously, you guys, if we do start to break out, if we do see a real breakout, it's unlikely that we're just going to go straight up. We're just going to go parabolic. But I will say right now that ultimately, if we do break out of this bull flag, if we break specifically this level around here at about 1850, if we break these previous highs right here, we're pretty much in blue sky territory after that. And ultimately, my price target for Workhorse from current levels, we're at around 1450, is going to be around $14. The reason for that is because I do believe that Workhorse will close this gap right here. So Workhorse, of course, following the news of the USPS contract drop, did fall off an absolute cliff following a massive rally that it saw, and it left a massive gap, okay? So I do think that at some point this gap will get filled. This is the range. This is the channel I'm personally looking at. The bottom side of this range is, once again, from current levels, about 97% up. Conservatively, 95% up from here, okay? So again, you guys, as always, if you're trading these, go into your trading view, keep an eye on this, draw the stick figures in your own trading view, and take a look or keep an eye out for some of these breakouts of these beautiful, beautiful bull flags. Okay, so that's Workhorse. Let's move on to Plug Power. Plug is not really in a bull flag right now, but Plug is in actually a pretty nice ascending channel. So I do have this line drawn here. I'll actually draw another line like this, which is the actual, at this point, I guess, line of overall support. So this is the channel that Plug is currently in. I do think, even though Plug is seeing some nice volume, Plug is up almost 14% today. Closed out the day very, very strong. I do think Plug will definitely see some resistance around here. So I do think Plug will use previous support right here of this initial ascending channel as new resistance. Previous support will always act as new resistance. It proved it a little bit right here on a few of these candles. So I do think that Plug will see some short-term, very, very positive price action. Go from 34 to 38, which again, you're looking at another 10%, potential 10% move up. But again, I do think we will see some resistance around here. What gets very, very exciting for Plug is if Plug breaks through that, it's pretty close to the overall line of resistance on that prior ascending channel. So again, my short-term price target for Plug is going to be about 38.50. Granted, we hit it like June 25th, just over the course of the coming days, to 40 bucks. If Plug can break like 40 bucks, if Plug can specifically break this line of resistance on this ascending channel, I do think Plug could go absolutely ballistic, okay? But keep in mind as well, you guys, Plug does have a market cap of just about 9, so I was pretty off, 22 billion, I guess. But as far as TradingView is concerned, as far as their words are concerned, Plug Power's market cap is $19 billion, significantly larger. Like Workhorse is a $1.8 billion company, just to put things in scale. Like HYLN is about the same size, just sub $2 billion company. So keep in mind, you guys, the larger the market cap, this is still in the grand scheme of the greater markets, a very small stock. But in terms of potential very exciting price action, it does, the larger the market cap is, the more capital inflow it will take to change the share price. That's why I usually like trading small caps, identify promising small cap stocks with a great asymmetric risk profile, and then capitalize on them. Because if they really do catch steam, again, like we've seen in the past with Workhorse, HYLN, many of these names, CCIV, even Plug, once again, even though it's a lot larger, the smaller the market cap, the less capital inflow it takes to appreciate the share price. If these things start catching fire, they can catch fire real fast, which makes it very exciting for not only stock positions, but for especially for call positions if you play them correctly. Okay, so that's Plug. Again, just keep an eye on kind of that $40 level, but I do think it's very possible that Plug does see $40 over the coming week or so, all right? Let's move on to CCIV. CCIV looking beautiful, just broke out of this little bull flag right here. So again, you guys, bull flag, parabolic move up. This is a little jankier of a bull flag, I will admit. There's not much support around here, but I do read this as a bull flag. It is showing like a real nice spike in volume. Nothing compared to what we saw back here, but you are seeing volume pick up once again, which is always a good initial sign of a rally starting to pick up some steam and hopefully going for that next wave in the overall uptrend. Okay, so CCIV, like many of these names, we'll actually go back to Workhorse real quick, but because I forgot to mention this, the 4-hour Stokes are crossing up after being pretty oversold. Okay, so we're seeing the same thing in Workhorse right here. You go here, 4-hour Stokes, good old blue, just crossed over red. That's usually very, very bullish from a short to medium term time horizon perspective, and we are seeing that in many of these names. Okay, so Workhorse doing the same thing makes me that much more bullish on top of the bull flag. CCIV, again, arguable, somewhat of a bull flag. I'm reading this as a bull flag personally. It looks enough like a bull flag for me to read it as one. Broke out, almost more importantly, of this line of resistance on the short-term downtrend from its recent rally that closed off on June 8th. So that's bullish in itself. Again, I will read this as a bull flag on top of the break of resistance on the short-term downtrend. And again, we are also seeing 4-hour Stokes curl to the upside, blue over red, very bullish. All right, so I do think that from here CCIV can see at least another 40%. Again, you guys, it's not just gonna go straight up 40%. Maybe it does. Maybe we do see a rally like this. There's always going to be some speed bumps along the way, but in terms of like a week or two out, if we do start ripping, I do think CCIV can see at least a 40% gain, and actually on the top end would be to close this gap as well. Okay, so CCIV, once it started selling off, this is a massive gap. What's this gap right here? From like $40 to like $57. That's probably one of the biggest gaps I've actually ever seen. That's insane. But I do think that at the very least, once again, if these things do start to pick up some steam, that over the coming weeks, we could see CCIV rally to about $40 to close the low end of that gap. Of course, the same logic I used for, what the heck? Oh, my bad. Let's go back here. Try to copy paste. So let's copy paste right there. This is once again a massive range right here. So this range is once again from $40, like $57. I'm not even going to talk about like what. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if we get to it. Hopefully we get to it. But initial price target, I guess initial price target for CCIV is just this area that has historically acted as a ceiling. So we will likely see some resistance around $32, $33. But I do think it's very, very possible for CCIV to see $40. Once again, if we really do see this sector pop off. Okay, so CCIV, very exciting. Keep a close eye on this one. Let's talk some HYLN and then close it out with the space play. So HYLN, again, looking a little less exciting, playing out almost somewhat of a head and shoulders pattern. Unfortunately, HYLN right here did break out of this nice channel that we were keeping an eye on last week, I believe, or a couple weeks ago at this point, I guess, because we were on 4-hour candles. But HYLN is seeing some volume coming back. I'm really liking that. Again, the 4-hour Stoke, like, I mean, pretty much very similar charts, just different names. We're just seeing the 4-hour Stokes curl up on HYLN as well, and also playing out somewhat of a bull flag. So this area over here too, on this overall uptrend, because you could consider this like a high, like this is a short-term uptrend, but this is more of a medium-term uptrend, and you could consider where we're at right now as just a new, like a higher low. Okay, so this area will also act as solid support, considering this is HYLN's previous high prior to its current rally. So this level right here, you can see we bounced perfectly off of it. Again, this previous high of the rally before the current rally will act as a new floor. We saw that play out, and HYLN is playing out somewhat of a bull flag as well, in the sense that you are seeing this kind of descending wedge, descending triangle pattern, followed by a really strong, pretty parabolic move to the upside. And HYLN, similar to many of the names we're looking at today, is, I mean, just because I'm so bullish on the sector and bullish on HYLN fundamentally, I would hope that HYLN breaks out. So HYLN, again, does look less, it looks a little less appealing than all the other names. It still looks good. It still looks appealing. I'm still personally invested. I'm still playing HYLN personally. So let's hope that we do see HYLN break out of this bull flag. If it does, and if it does break this orange line right here, that's when things can get absolutely crazy, okay? This orange line is HYLN's overall line of support, or overall line of resistance on the massive, massive downtrend that HYLN's currently in, okay? So let's zoom out. We're gonna have to go way back here. Just this downtrend, like just the bounces from where HYLN was. HYLN has seen, keep in mind, over an 85% correction from its highs last year, okay? Almost a year ago at this point. Late last summer, like fall of 2020, it saw its highs. And since then, it has seen over an 85% correction, bottomed out around here, and we are finally starting to see it bounce once again. So HYLN, again, from a fundamental perspective, is such a promising play when you're talking a longer term time horizon. Short term, again, you're looking at this could very well play out as a bull flag as well. But again, short term, a little more questionable. Long term, still very, 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 very bullish. Okay, so again, if we do break out of this line of support, which as we move forward gets lower and lower, so it makes it that much more possible for HYLN to break this overall line of resistance on the overall downtrend. Like say we break at this point over the coming week or so, by July, if we can break $13, that would mean that we broke out and we broke a very, very significant line of resistance, and that leads me to believe that HYLN will ultimately, if that happens, if we close above $13 before July, then I am probably gonna go very, very hard on my HYLN positions. Okay, so upside potential, what are we talking? Okay, so price range, what areas I'm looking at. Of course, you guys, like over areas like this are going to act as very, very strong levels of resistance on the way up. Okay, so if we see a breakout, if we do break out of support, the first level I'm going to be looking at is just this general area. Okay, so it's nothing super specific, but when you are in breakout mode, when you're going parabolic, just look at historical areas that have acted as ceilings and floors in the past. This is just like the dead center of pretty much where we went sideways for a pretty long time over here. So that would take us to about like $17.50. So conservative price target, if we do break out here, initially is going to be about 17 bucks. But I do think that again, if HYLN picks back up its pace, we could be on our way to like the $27 level and then to like the $34 level. So again, you guys, a lot of this I'm focusing more on short to medium term time horizons, but we will cross these bridges if we come to them. And again, I'm very, very bullish on the entirety of the sector, as I've said many times already in this video. So let's hope we do cross those bridges so we can cover them in the future and talk next level price targets. All right, let's close it out with the space plays, alternate systems, and IQST. So I almost just mashed those together in my mind. So alternate breaking out of a nice short-term bull flag right here as well. Again, bull flags left and right, baby. Parabolic move up, descending triangle. This was an easy read, perfectly broke out of this bull flag, which means that I do think we are gonna set a higher low. So high on top of the bull flag, high, low. Probably going to set a higher high. My initial price target is going to be around 7 cents, just over 7 cents. Probably come back down, set another low, maybe come down to like 6.5 cents, this high over here, and just keep working our way up. I do like what I love to see here, you guys, is this spike in volume, this resurgence in volume that we're seeing in ALYI, because specifically for plays like ALYI and IQST, they're OTC plays, they're over the counter. They need volume, and they are very small companies. So I've been doing a lot of, so the thing about ALYI, I don't know why TradingView and many of the media outlets have not updated this yet. ALYI's market cap, when you take the overall float of their shares times their share price, is actually like closer to like the high like 80-90 millions. So that's very important to keep in mind as well. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong, but it's not $6 million, which is very, very important to keep in mind. And something that again, I said a lot in the past, but over time I have realized that that's just not the case, which sucks, because literally even if you go to like Yahoo and stuff, like every outlet you go to and look at their market cap, it says a similar thing. So that's whack that those haven't been up to date. So keep that in mind as well. Regardless, even if it is just south of $100 million market cap, that's still a very, very small company relative to the entire, like in the grand scheme of the equity market, still very small. I just called Plug Power, which is over a $20 billion company, pretty small. So ALYI, if you're talking about their long-term fundamental potential, again, targeting the emerging market of Africa, there's a lot of potential there. Like definitely B club. Okay, so even if it is $100 million company, I do think it's very, very easy for ALYI to get to $1 billion market cap, which would lead to obviously a 10x from here. All right. So again, short term, my first price target short term is going to be about 7 cents. And then again, same principles apply to everything we've been saying, right? Just look at historical areas that have acted as ceilings and floors. The reason I have this here, just this previous high set back in late April. Next area is going to be around like 8.5 cents, and then just do the same thing. And hopefully, if ALYI drops some news, once again, they are supposed to deliver 2,000 vehicles, their first order of 2,000 vehicles to Kenya, I believe. So if we see those bikes, if I want to see a warehouse full of those bikes, if we can see those bikes, if they do succeed in delivering on that delivery, then that will make me very, very fundamentally bullish. And I do think this stock will go absolutely ballistic because we're already seeing some volume come back, which once again, for these small market cap stocks is very important. You want eyeballs, you want traders interested, which does lead to that very, very exciting price action, which just creates that snowball effect for more and more upside potential. Okay. So that's ALYI. Let's close it out with good old IQST and Quisitel. I know that's not how you say it, but that's how I say it. In a pretty, a textbook symmetrical triangle right now. Okay, so IQST, if we do see a pop, it would make sense to me that we would come up to test the top side. Pretty much with IQST right now, it's either we test the upside, the top side of resistance of this symmetrical triangle, or the bottom side of support of this symmetrical triangle. Upside potential short term is going to be about 60 cents. Downside is going to be about 50 cents. And at this point, I do think that from again, you guys, like I've been saying, and I say this a lot because this is how I dictate the trades that I take on. From an asymmetric risk perspective, the upside potential right now significantly outweighs the downside potential. You can see for a long time now, IQST, since its very stark correction, has been going relatively sideways, pretty like similar to ALYI. This is capitulation. This is the capitulation time. Okay, and once again, because I do think green energy is about to have its moment, I'm more compelled to believe that IQST, ALYI, all the names we talked about today, are prone to more upside than downside, especially because they've all seen such elongated and staggering corrections over the past months. Okay, so again, the downside, even if we do come down a little bit, that just presents in my mind a better opportunity to pick this up at a discount for the longer term, for a longer term hold. But the upside is there as well. If we do break out, if we do close at this point above about 60 cents, then I do think IQST is back to the races. We will have broken out of resistance on the symmetrical triangle, and we'll probably be heading to more upside. Okay, so upside, I'm not even gonna give you guys a spiel. If you guys are following IQST, look at it. Like the first area that comes to mind right now is gonna be, we'll just go like right there, is going to be around like 67, just call it like 70 cents. Okay, so if we do break out, I do think we could rip pretty quickly up to about 65 to 70 cents. And again, from there, if ALYI pops, because IQST, once again, the Riot and Mar theory, the catch-up theory, I do think IQST can perform very, very well if ALYI starts to blast off as well, okay? Once again, because they are partnered as actual companies. So we will call it there, you guys. Please let me know in the comments down below which of these plays you're personally the most bullish on at this moment in time. If you're bullish on the EV green energy sector like I am, and if you guys got a bag, and if you guys are excited to make a bag on some of these plays, okay? So let's keep our fingers crossed. I'll talk to you guys downstairs in the comments. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.